First of all, I want to thank JAMB for revealing a major problem in the school system, because for so long we have hardly had a proper monitoring and reporting of examination cases in Nigeria. But this time around, we have been able to see that giving no room for maneuvering, you will simply find a very big gap, a very big learning problem in the school system. Now, I will also like to hope that NECO and WAEC will follow suit so that they begin to set questions that are actually different from one candidate to the other, so that will narrow the problem of examination malpractice. But that is on one hand. Having eliminated examination malpractice, you will now see the emptiness of learning, which of course all the global reports clearly show that there is global learning crisis. How did it come about? The World Bank Development Report of 1998-99 showed clearly that the difference between developed and developing countries is the knowledge gap. The UN Secretary General's 2012 Education First Initiative clearly stated the declining rate of learning in schools all over the world. Again, the recent one by UNESCO, Pauline Rose, she also gave a very, very disturbing statistic about declining of the rate of learning all over the world. So Nigeria is not an isolated case. The problem is a very, very, can be attributed to the what you call school. The way school is organized and run makes it impossible, almost impossible for learning to take place. Look at it. You start, the process begins with teaching, goes to testing, you score, you grade, you certify, and then you seek job. That is the routine in the school system. If you look at this routine, everybody believes that better infrastructure, better computers, better teacher education, better every other thing will add to something, learning, effective learning. However, nobody takes time to ask himself or herself, where is learning in this process? You look at teaching, this is teaching, testing, scoring, grading, certification. This process, it is assumed that learning is taking place. Unfortunately, to disappoint a lot of stakeholders, learning is actually not taking place. What happens in the classroom? The learning outcomes, of course, the lesson outcomes, let me just take lesson outcomes, are almost fully satisfied in the classroom. Because attention is obtained from the students, the teacher is able to cause greater awareness. If your questions are asked during that time, lesson is going on, you discover students will answer this question. Comprehension has taken place. Unfortunately, that is just the beginning of the learning process. At the end of the lesson, comprehension, which is a short-term memory activity, begins immediately to depreciate. Now, unless the student understands what learning actually means, that is why at our NGO we talk about demystifying the learning process. It begins by showing the learner or any other stakeholder in the system what learning truly means. What are the actual outcomes any human being, any player in the system should expect. There are 4 major outcomes from learning. Number 1, you have a positive character change. The number 2 is you have, out of this behavior change, anybody that takes advantage of this behavior change and turns it into wealth creation, that is innovation, is another outcome. Innovation is another outcome of the learning process. Now, the third outcome is very, very important. The ability to continuously change behavior and turn behavior change into money. That is, lifelong learning is a major outcome in the learning process. Okay. The fourth one, which is the one that is celebrated, is the certification stroke title outcome. Right. Which is where everybody is playing. And that is why everybody in the family, in the school, are all working together to get that certificate, which is what everybody is looking for.
Yes.
Now, for you to be able to bring about the reading culture, you must begin to look at things from a very, very different perspective. I will mention that the desire to read, for a child, a student to pick up a book to read, it must be a consequence of the desire for knowledge. Anytime somebody picks up a book to read, it definitely shows that that person is desiring something else, which the book is trying to present. Right. Now, if this desire is lacking, reading that material will lead to no knowledge development. That is one aspect. There are 3 of them.
All right, we'll come to them, but you know, it's interesting you've raised that. Oh, yes. Because it starts from the desire to even acquire knowledge in the first place. And then you also